Welcome back to Pelican Bay's Corner, the PBC, where I'm giving you that dog news, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some gonna like it, some ain't. Like I always say, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, everybody for rocking with me on my last live, everybody that been watching the last couple of videos that I've been putting out, and even some of the old videos that I put out. We got some breaking news today coming from South Carolina, Aiken, South Carolina, where we got a brother that was busted back in 2022 for drug charges, over 500 some grams of cocaine, and other things as well. Back in 2022, well, he's got busted again, 2026. This time, I'm gonna let y'all check that video out, and then we're gonna get to talking about it. This time he had dogs with it. I had to pull the old video up to see if it was dogs involved the last time, but I know it's dogs involved this time, 11 pit bulls. So y'all check this out, and then we're going to talk about it when it's done.
Aiken County, South Carolina. A South Carolina address that was the center of a 2022 drug bust has been raided again, and a man out on previous drug charges now faces several more, authorities say. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office said Charles Edward Johnson Jr. of Springfield was arrested on Wednesday at his home in the 2400 block of Windsor Road as part of a drug trafficking investigation. Warrants state that investigators seized 2,700 grams of cocaine, 9 pounds of marijuana, about 65 grams of methamphetamine, 44 oxycodone pills, and a Glock .40 caliber handgun. In a statement, the sheriff's office, which led the investigation, said deputies also found 11 pit bulls and $8,000 in cash at the scene. Johnson faces 2 trafficking charges for cocaine and methamphetamine, possession with intent to distribute marijuana, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and animal cruelty. The trafficking charges are classified as a violent crime under South Carolina law, according to the warrants. Authorities said he was already out on bond for previous trafficking charges at the time of this arrest, and the home was the scene of a November 2022 raid that uncovered 500 grams of cocaine and 3,100 grams of methamphetamine. That raid also led to trafficking and weapons charges, the sheriff's office said. Authorities said the investigation is ongoing and more charges are possible.
Drugs, dogs, guns, all above. In this case right here, the brother, what they say he got caught with 2,700 some grams of cocaine. If you know measurement, that's 2 kilos. 2 kilos and 600 and some grams. So that'll be about 2.5 kilos of cocaine plus the firearms plus whatever other drugs he got caught with. And in this particular situation, they're not even worried about them dogs. Them dogs is not going to play a factor in what he got going on now. 11 pit bulls was seized. It wasn't a dog fighting raid. And all the things that he got caught with, he's for sure to get them dog charges dropped when he plead guilty to them 2,000 some grams of cocaine and whatever other charges he got found, at the time. When he plead guilty to them charges, they're going to drop that dog stuff. That dog stuff not going to be, he ain't going to have to, worry about all that. 11 pit bulls. They charged you with animal cruelty as well. And like I said, it be the situations like this, and not even saying this about this particular brother, but it be these situations like this that bring all the heat to the pit bull game. Just by having the dogs charges involved with the situation, the brother can be like, oh, I know somebody that fight dogs, blah, 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 point over here. I know somebody that fight dogs, point over here, and it go down just like that. And then from there, they go to there, and then from there, they go to the next, and that's what makes the difference between today's time and back in the Wild Wild West days. Back in the Wild Wild West days, people got caught with drugs in the dog game, and, we even know certain people that got caught with drugs in the dog game. But it wasn't as common as it is now. It's almost every single time somebody get caught with the drugs, or the dogs rather. Somebody get caught with the dogs, they got drugs involved. Almost every single time. Not all the time, but almost every single time. And it wasn't like that back in the days, you know. And that's the reason, and that's what makes these folk make laws and add, like how Georgia got the RICO now, going with the dogs. You know, if you get caught up with the dogs in Georgia, it's a racketeering charge, you know, because you involved with gambling, dogs, homicide, drugs, you know, all the above. You know, so it just makes it worse on the future of the dog game and the people in the future of the dog game. It just makes it look bad for the breed. You know, like I said, it looks like the pit bull is always involved with drugs, guns, homicide, like I said, you know, when it's so untrue. A lot of people like the breed. It's one of the most popular breeds in America, you know. And so it is what it is, man. But 2,700 grams of cocaine, he pretty much know where his future lies at, you know. It don't take a rocket scientist to know that. You know, salute to all the brothers and sisters down in the chat, everybody that's checking this video out. I got another interview that dropped today. I want to say that's interview number 20 or 21 maybe on the clock interviews. So check that out when it dropped today. And just like I always say, man, understand what's going on around y'all here. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be careful. You got to do things the right way. You got to stay legal. You got to stay safe out here, man. This dog game is the quickest way to get yourself involved with something else that's more deeper than the dogs. Like I always say, when you got these dogs, they don't need a search warrant in the way that they would need a search warrant for the drugs. And the thing about it, they don't have to, you know, with a search warrant for drugs, you got to have probable cause with anything, right? But it's the probable cause for a drug search warrant is going to be a whole lot harder than getting probable cause for a dog search warrant. You know, I mean, I can see the dogs. They got them right here. Whether they in a fence or whether they in the woods or wherever you got them at, if they're not in your house, they can see them on the outside, and whatever they feel like they get from the pictures, it's gonna be enough reason to get a search warrant. You know, what judge have you seen denied the law enforcement a search warrant when they came to them with dogs? They probably don't even got to see nothing on the dogs. This them showing the dogs get them a search warrant. You know, I don't know, but what I do know is these drugs, these guns, all different kind of drugs, and dogs don't mix. You know, like Biggie, like the brother Biggie Small said back in the days, it don't mix like two dicks and no chicks. You find yourself in serious shit, you know, and it just is what it is, my brothers. You just gotta stay safe out here, man. Gotta stay safe. You gotta do things and think about what you got to lose, you know, when it comes to your family, your kids, your wife, you know, if you don't got kids and a wife, yourself, you know, what you got to lose. You got to be dealing with people out here that got a lot to lose. Not saying that brother didn't have a lot to lose, you know, but we take a lot of things for granted out here. You know, we take a lot of things for granted out here when it comes to these dogs, when it comes to our drug enterprise or whatever we doing with the drugs, whoever dealing with them or whatever. We take a lot of things for granted. And I tell you all the time, even if you're not charged with dog fighting, when you get locked up for drugs, your dogs will be seized. You know, so even if you don't want your dog seized, you gotta figure out another way to do certain things. You know, it like they always say, man, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. You know, it's gonna be to the point in a minute, if you feel like you got a big time drug game going on, then you're gonna have to keep your dogs in a whole nother place. Because when they come with that search warrant to your crib for the drugs, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40, 50 dogs, Them dogs getting took. The drugs bought the dogs, is what they gonna say. The dogs help fund the drugs, is what they gonna say. The dog and the drugs all go along in one little circle with the guns and the homicides and everything else. You know, so, you know, I always say, man, just be safe out here. Always go with your first instinct on certain things. And never think it can't happen to you. You know, never think that it can't happen to you. And you know, just try to do the right things and preserve the breed the right way, man. That's the only way you're gonna last. The only way you're gonna last, man. Like I always say, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button up before you get up out of here as well. And remember where you got it from first. It's your boy PB K9s, giving it to you on the PBC, Pelican Bay Corner, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some gonna like it, some ain't. We out.